Hello. Haven't talked since Boiling Springs. Was halfway through Pennsylvania on the last video, and moving fast. Currently in New York. When I got back on the trail at Boiling Springs to finish up Pennsylvania, right after what's called a 501 shelter, Pennsylvania turned into Rocksylvania, and it was heavy rocks for quite a ways. It slows you down, and I don't find any enjoyment out of it. I don't know how anyone would. I'm kind of surprised they run the trail through that area because I don't know, it just wasn't fun at all, but everybody seems to have to do it. And I'm told you can even go through a pair of shoes. I didn't think it was that bad, but it does in fact slow you down in an area where there isn't a lot of terrain. Then moved into Delaware Gap, small village. Not much going on there, but it was the Delaware River runs through there. So you have to climb out after you cross, I think you cross the river on I-80. There's a walkway on I-80. Cross the river and start to climb up into Jersey. And the first portion of Jersey was just an extension of those rocks in Pennsylvania. After that it got a little better. It wasn't bad at all. Kind of enjoyed it. High Point State Park, was looking forward to seeing the monument there. And you can get up to it. It's 3/10 of a mile from the trail, but the platform's actually closed. There's some falling mortar or bricks or whatnot, so they have it roped off where pedestrians aren't allowed to be there. So you can't get right up to it like you used to. I don't know if that's going to change as the summer moves on. And then into New York, and that's where I am now. New York, surprisingly, it's a challenge. A lot of rocks. I know you're sick of hearing it from me with the rocks, but I'm just surprised at where they are. And part of that, just part, is that erosion takes place. A lot of heavily traveled trail, when hikers walk on that in the rain, they start tromping in the mud, and then the rain washes away that soil and exposes both roots and rocks. So that's something that progressively gets worse as the years go on. But then there are rocks that are so huge that it has nothing to do with erosion. So New York, it actually slowed me down. I thought it'd be moving faster than I did, but it was enjoyable nevertheless. A lot of history, and I'm familiar with the area of New York. Harriman State Park was pretty neat. Some good views, and Bear Mountain as well, and their observation tower is closed to the public as well. They're doing renovations. They were there working on it when I went through, and they're probably getting ready for the season. Most beaches, concession stands and state parks and stuff, they're not even open yet on weekends, so that's the price you pay for going a little early, but I'm okay with that because the temperatures now are really getting hot, and it'll be nice to continue moving north. I don't think you can escape the heat. Eventually it'll be everywhere, but I can't imagine this week being in Georgia. That would be awful. So, saw a lot of people at Bear Mountain. The views were great of the Hudson Valley, the Bear Mountain Bridge. Most of the people I saw were from New York City, school trips, and a lot of individuals. I met a father and a son. They're from Brooklyn. The father told me he's a realtor in Brooklyn, and his son was playing hooky, and they came up just to enjoy a day climbing Bear Mountain, which was neat. And when he told me he was a realtor in Brooklyn, I remember my parents, they had sold their first house in the Flatbush Avenue section of Brooklyn, and the realtor they used, and I don't know why I remember this, but it was Fillmore Real Estate. And the gentleman I was talking to told me, oh, they're still in business, they're still a big player, and Brooklyn's a booming market, which is interesting because in the 60s and early 70s, people were fleeing New York City, and now it seems to be the place to be, especially Brooklyn, since Manhattan's so unaffordable. But anyway, nice people. Had some conversation with them. I did, at Bear Mountain has quite a bit to see. The trail goes through the Trailside Zoo. That's part of the trail. So I actually saw my first 2 real bears, but they were in the zoo, so I don't think that counts. Bear Mountain Lodge, stopped in there just to grab a quick bite of something to eat, more of a treat than anything else. They have the fine dining upstairs, and I was downstairs in the cafe, which is like steerage on a cruise ship. But I just got a couple of hot dogs, I think, and a shake, and continued on because I was excited to get to the Bear Mountain Bridge. A lot of history with the Bear Mountain Bridge, built in 1924 by private money. Averill Harriman had a hand in that. It was privately funded, privately built, and privately operated, which is very unusual, but maybe back then things were a little different. The bridge, at the time, I believe it was the biggest suspension bridge in the world, the only bridge south of Albany. Anyone who wanted to cross the river back then would have to take ferries back and forth, and so these private entrepreneurs, as I said, Harriman, which is a popular name, Harriman State Park, he was a former governor in New York, and he's right up there with the Rockefellers, did fund it, and I think their toll was 80 cents at the time, but when the state purchased the bridge in 1940, they dropped the toll to 50 cents. And this was before the Tappan Zee Bridge, and as we speak now, a brand new Tappan Zee Bridge is being built next to the existing Tappan Zee Bridge, and so times have changed. I can't imagine how many millions of cars go across both those bridges. So I enjoyed the Bear Mountain Bridge. Also, I have a little story and a video clip. A friend of mine, his parents were the bridge keepers on the Bear Mountain Bridge, and I had a treat one night where I had dinner on the bridge in their house, and I thought that was the coolest thing as a kid. After Bear Mountain, oh, the wind, by the way, roaring, had to be 40, 45 miles an hour. So it was kind of intimidating going across, and some of the audio isn't clear, but I think you can bear with it. It didn't look too terrible, and the visuals were pretty good. But that was exciting going across the bridge. Once across, I went to Graymore, where I overnighted. It's a Franciscan monastery since 1972. They've been hosting hikers, and they provide overnight tenting or a pavilion that you can sleep under the pavilion, which is what I did. There was electricity, fresh, cold, clean water, a shower. The shower is cold water only. Nobody went for that, and it is a little cold this time of year to be doing it. Temperatures right now are July-like, very hot. It's going to be humid. The previous week or week and a half was kind of rotten and cold. It was freezing at night, and during the day it would get to be like 50 degrees, but typically overcast, rain showers to torrential rain at one point last weekend, which I haven't changed my opinion. Nothing good comes out of hiking in the rain, unless at the end of the day you can get to a shelter where you can somewhat dry out. If you have consecutive days of rain, I don't see how you can function that way, because once you're cold and your gear gets wet, you're finished. So I haven't mastered that, other than my strategy is I'll hike in the rain providing I can get to a shelter at night, and I'll hike in torrential rain providing I can get to a motel or a hostel to get dried out. It's just nothing fun about it. And I tried it where the feet have gotten soaking wet and blisters come on literally minutes to hours. And then once you get the blisters, now what? You're compromising your ability to move when things dry out. So I just don't see the point in really pushing it in the heavy rain. Anyway, enough of that. Left Graymore, started moving towards Hopewell Junction. I stayed at the RPH shelter in Hopewell, which is a private shelter owned by a hiking club called Rogers Peak Hikers. And the place is meticulously kept. The caretaker was there when I got there. It's concrete. It's very clean. It's got bunks. It has well water that's pumped, hand pump. I got some video of that. And it's very close to Hortontown Road in Hopewell Junction. I mean, there's a driveway that you can order food, pizzas, whatever, and some of the guys that particular night did do that. So that was a neat treat as well. Prior to going into RPH, there's a mountain before you descend in, and it's Shenandoah Mountain. And up there's a 9/11 memorial that was done over 10 years ago. The American flag was painted on the rock. And I have some stills and video of it. I met two people up there, Kellyanne and Jared. Kellyanne goes to the University of North Carolina. She's done for the year. And she was with her boyfriend, Jared, and they were just going for a walk to Fawnstalk, and I met them at the top of Shenandoah Mountain, just checking out the views and that flag that was painted. As I said, the flag is very much weathered. It's still visible what it is, but it'd be nice if it was done over again. it was probably 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They told me they were going to Fawnstalk State Park, which was another great park with great sights. And I grew up around there in my later teens, and I saw spots that I hadn't seen even when I lived there and frequented the park. So that was a pleasant surprise. Another thing that's a pleasant surprise in New York, and that wouldn't be the taxes, is the water. I haven't tasted good spring water, creek water, since I would say Central Virginia, Southern Virginia. But when I get into New York, Harriman, Bear Mountain, Fawnstalk, the water is actually refreshing, cold, crystal clear. I've been enjoying it, so I'll take time to drink a liter and fill up and move on to the next one. It's just been a while since there's been good tasting water, but it's in my home state of New York, and that was a pleasant surprise as well, so I enjoyed that. Okay, so moved on from Hopewell Junction, RPH, and just going to be finishing up New York, I would say tomorrow, and moving into Connecticut. And just a couple of things for fellow thru hikers for FYI. I think north of 55 in Pauling, you come upon two shelters before you leave the state. One is called Telephone Pioneer Shelter at mile marker 1445, and the other one is the Morgan Stewart Shelter at 1438. They're infested with ticks in the shelters. They're actually in the shelters, and several hikers had commented that when they got in there and saw the ticks showing up on their equipment and themselves, they just picked up and moved out and tented. And this was something that was warned months ago, that when you get up to this area, it might be wise to do more tenting than sheltering. And I've come to like the shelters and haven't had a problem yet. But I certainly was not staying in the Telephone Pioneers or the Morgan Stewart Shelter for sure with the ticks, because that's the gift that keeps on giving, and you don't want to get it. So be advised of that. The ticks, they're out there. And several bear sightings around Nuclear Lake, which is just north of 55, cubs and mother bear. No problems at all, but they're there. I haven't seen them. Some of the other hikers have. That's all I can think of. A long slack in the video because I've been focused on making the miles as opposed to making the memories. I'm kind of excited now. I think I'm up around 1,400 miles, and I'm really excited to get up north. I'm told when you get to New Hampshire, you've completed 80% of the miles, but only 20% of the physical effort that's required to complete it. But I am excited and anxious about getting there, so I've been doing slack packing, enjoying it to death. And I tell you, once you do it, you don't want to go any other way, because it's like you're on steroids. You can knock out 25s like nothing. You even had a 30 in there. You do have to pay for the service, but if you can do it, I think it's something worth trying at the very least, especially if you're doing a lot of miles and haven't been taking much breaks. It's a way of knocking out the miles while you're kind of relaxing and enjoying. Keep in mind, though, you only have water, your snacks, and probably a jacket and cell phone with you, so weather is a factor. And you better make sure the weather's good when you start the day, because once you're out there, you're out there. So if it's an iffy day, I wouldn't recommend it. I am going to look for some of those options in the whites, because it just looks like it's going to be technically challenging when I get up there. So I could use probably any help I could get. Can't think of anything else. Oh, the videos. Yeah, it's been a problem finding Wi-Fi. It's been a problem being able to compile the stuff. So I didn't forget you. I'm just not, I'm moving more than I'm spending overnights at hostels and stuff, so it's been difficult. The last video I did put up, I had the opportunity to do the narration in the beginning, and I know some commented like you're sitting in the corner of a building. Yeah, I was, because that's the best I have. I don't have a tractor trailer with me with a set and a staff, so I take what I can get. But that video took between 5 and 6 hours to upload, so it was awful. But I'm trying to get them to you, and I'll keep doing that. And I'm sure when I get up to Greylock in Vermont, the views are going to be spectacular with heavy maple and pine forests and just the open areas of New Hampshire. So that's it, feeling good. As I said, I did push the miles, and wouldn't you know it, what comes back but the blisters and the sores and the pains. So I found for me, with a pack, 20s are safe. Without the pack, 25 and 30s, no problem. But when I push more than 20 a day, it's just too much for me. But some of these young bucks are knocking it off. Maybe they'll pay for it 20 years from now, but they seem to be doing it. I found my limit is right in there at the 20-22 mark with a pack. And I can't see getting it any lighter than it is. It's currently at 26 pounds with 5 days of food and water. Okay, one last one, and that was several people have told me coming south that the most infested area in the entire trail is in Connecticut, and very specifically it's in the vicinity of Pine Swamp Brook Shelter, which is at mile marker 1484, and hence the word swamp. They said it is a swamp, and there isn't enough DEET in the world to keep the bugs off. So when you're typically 4 miles south of that shelter to 4 miles north, you should be double timing it and not plan on staying at the Pine Swamp Brook Shelter. And that sounds like good advice for me. They're already eating me alive. I know this. The incentive for me to move isn't Alex. I haven't been with Alex in quite a while, and he was always a great motivator. The incentive to move now is the mosquitoes. If I keep the pace fast, they're swarming, but they can't land and bite. But if you slow down or even take a break, they're all over you, and you just have to deal with it. I have been a couple of nights sleeping wearing the bug head net. The mosquitoes in the early evening are just they're fine dining on me. As it gets cooler, they disappear, but it did get to a point a couple of times I had to wear them. But that's the way it goes when the weather breaks. So that's all I have for now. We'll be moving into Connecticut in a couple of days, fast-paced north, and excited to get up there. So until then, I'll go to the videos and the photos, and we'll see you next time. So long. That is a pretty tall fire tower in downtown Duncannon. I don't know how tall it is, but it's pretty tall. There are no rocks. There are no rocks. It's all in my imagination. There are no rocks. No rocks. And they're really there. They're just fluffy clouds. That pain you feel on your knees, it's not real. Neither is the rocks. So this is the famous Duncannon Hotel where hikers can stay. But everyone I talked to said, stay away. Looks pretty old, and it's not a good place to stay. But Duncannon itself appears to be an all-industrial town. They made sleds from like 1904 to 1988. I think the company was called Gilder. But this is a pretty dated place. And the town looks like it's in disrepair. Not in great shape at all. Oh well. Delaware Water Gap, crossing into Jersey, or Jersey, depending on where you're from. Delaware Gap, neat little hamlet. It looks pretty old. Get the blazes going right along the street. And the foam pole over there. Castle Inn, 1906. Looks like somebody's doing some kind of filming. Pretty neat. Okay, don't want to interfere with their filming, but the trail changes direction at the foam pole, and there's the next blaze on the next foam pole. I think this is where we cross the Delaware, so we'll check back. Looks like they do some performing here, probably in the summer. It's some kind of stage. I have a lot of activities here. It's a great spot. Delaware Water Gap. Pretty cool. And this looks like the Delaware River Joint Toll Bridge Commission. I don't know if I have to pay a toll. I'll have to let you know. Okay, this looks like I-80. Oh shoot, I don't have my Easy Pass. I'll have to pay cash. I'll get in the slow lane. Oh look, there's a blaze. Delaware River. Holy cow, this bridge is shaking. I don't like this. I know as soon as I get to the middle of the river on the border, my good friend Tony C is going to be waiting on the other side of the line, because he said he'll be there for me if I need him. I think he's there. I see a red Lincoln Mercury in the parking area. It's got to be Tony. Here it comes. Pennsylvania, Jersey. Woo! That's it. There are no rocks. There are no rocks. There are no rocks. They're not really there. It's just in my imagination. There are no rocks. Okay. Coming down to the Palisades Parkway. It goes through Harriman and Bear Mountain State Park. I've always seen the signs for hikers crossing, but I've never seen a hiker cross. And this isn't, it's 2 lanes in each direction, but you wouldn't want to try to cross this during rush hour. So, I'll check in a minute. Okay. Coming up to the Palisades. Southbound lanes. A lot of marsh and mud from the heavy rains the last couple of days. Okay. I guess the idea is to get across without getting hit. Hey, we're halfway there. Got a 50% chance of making it the rest of the way. 50% chance of just finishing crossing the Palisades. We even have a trail register here. I should probably look at that. Not really, there's nothing in there. Okay. Okay, so southbound was kind of moderate traffic. The northbound lanes, I can't imagine it's going to be much because most people are going into the city. People running for their lives out of the city. And I'll take this shot to go across. Okay. Not bad. After heavy rain, the brooks are really running. Crystal clear water though. Finally, a clear day, good view in New York from Bear Mountain State Park west towards Harriman State Park. New York has turned into becoming quite challenging. You wouldn't think it'd be these steep rock climbs, but it is. You can see the parking lot for Harriman State Park, and just north of that is the circle at the north end of the Palisades Parkway. I don't know if I can get in on that. Yeah, there it is. That's where the Palisades Parkway starts. Never saw it from up here. Pretty neat. So I know what you're thinking. So what? Another stream. Right. But it's actually the trail. Goes on, I don't know, 150 yards, 200 yards. But this isn't uncommon. And it doesn't look like it's from rain runoff. It looks like it's always a stream. But it's also always a trail. So you never know what you're going to get. Hudson Valley view. Bear Mountain Bridge. It looks like the east stanchion is visible. See if we can get in on that. There it is, peeking out. I'll be crossing that later today. Okay, checking out. There's a lookout observation building on Bear Mountain. I should be up there in a couple hours. Beautiful day. Okay, we have another Appalachian Trail dog that doesn't like the sewer people. So
she's trying to get back to her mom, that's why.
Oh, is that it? Okay, we're on the move, heading for Bear Mountain. It's all in your head. The rocks really aren't that bad. Just keep saying it's all in your head. On Black Mountain, looking towards Harriman. The views are spectacular. The weather's great. Nice breeze, so it's not too bad on you. It's refreshing. And these mountain tops here remind me of Georgia. Just sheer rock that goes on for hundreds of yards and drops right off. So I'm not going to walk over to the edge because I want to finish this trip. But spectacular views. Pretty neat. Bear Mountain observation. You can't go up it. Must be construction. This is what happened at High Point State Park in Jersey, where Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York come together. You weren't allowed to even get on the platform where the tower was. But nice to get up here and see it anyway. A lot of people up here too. It's a beautiful day. Nice breeze. Good views. Oh, there's New York City skyline. A city so nice they named it twice. New York, New York. Let's see if I can zoom in. Wow. That's pretty cool. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but it's out there. Okay. Now, you think being at Bear Mountain, you're far enough away from the city that they can't get you for taxes, but you'd be wrong. Thank you, ATC volunteers. Now I won't get wet up to my waist. Okay, Bear Mountain was really neat, crystal clear. The only thing is the winds were roaring, so the audio is probably tough with the wind in the background, but great views. You can see New York City, Hudson Valley, ship coming up the river, and there's a school trip from New York City that's up here now. So I'm heading down the north side into the park area itself and then the zoo, and then crossing the Bear Mountain Bridge. So I'll check back when I'm over there. Another good view of the Hudson Valley. Fort Montgomery. Beautiful bird right there doing a little air work. He's taking his biennial. Yep. Pretty cool. What a day. Beautiful day. I am really enjoying this today. After like 7 days of overcast, rain, and cold, it's just beautiful. So, onward. Want to get to the Bear Mountain Bridge. I'm thinking this waterfall, as a result of the heavy rain. It was almost 3 inches of rain over the last couple of days. It doesn't look like it's runs all year long. Anyway, when it comes across this trail, I'm putting it in a bottle. Pretty full, so boy, if that was going in the summer, there'd be a lot of kids playing in that. Okay, here's the trail. It's running down the trail, so I would want to draw the water before it crosses the trail, so I'm not tasting somebody's New Balance soles. But you don't have to look far to find a place to grab it. Yeah. Well, I'm going to turn the camera off while I do that. Check back. I gotta tell you, that was great tasting water. Since Northern Virginia, it hasn't been that great. I mean, it's clean and it's water, but it hasn't tasted that great. This water tastes great. Coming right off the top of the mountain. Absolutely great. Okay. In the home state of New York. All right, moving on. Just caught a great view of the Bear Mountain Bridge. It's beautiful. Almost there. Okay, I'm in the Bear Mountain Lodge, and I'm in the cafe downstairs, which is like steerage on a fine cruise ship. So hot dogs, hamburgers, the fine dining's upstairs, but I can't afford that and not really interested. But these guys make the best hot dogs, right?
Yeah, of course.
Best hot dogs. Okay, checking out. Okay, Bear Mountain State Park pool doesn't have water in it yet. I guess they're getting ready for the season, but it's not ready yet. Going through the zoo now. Some school groups are here, but being a weekday, there's not much else going on. So, pretty neat though. All right, checking out. Finally, a bear. Of course, it had to be in the Trailside Zoo at the Bear Mountain State Park, but you got to take it where you can get it. Pretty neat. You guys having fun? Yeah? What is that a dog? Is that a big dog over there?
Is that a dog, Michelle?
What is it?
Oh, not the bird?
No, up over in the corner. Is that a dog or it's a big dog? Could it be a bear? It's a bear. Good job. Okay.
Where are you
Checking
hiking
out.
from?
I started in Georgia on February 16th.
Wow.
So, still working my way north.
I was just telling them a lot of people come through here to see that.
This is the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
when
anyway,
do you
checking out.
expect to
Okay, so this is the Bear Mountain Bridge crossing. The wind is really roaring, so I'm sure the audio is not going to be good when I get down to the in the middle of the span. Anyway, there should be some good video of it though. All right, we got to cross the road here without getting hit. Okay. So the Bear Mountain Bridge. Built in 1924. It was privately owned and operated and funded at that time. It was also the biggest suspension bridge in the world at that time. And in 1940, New York State purchased the bridge, and since then they've owned and operated. And one of the rare times with New York State, when they purchased the bridge from the private owners, which I think was the Bear Mountain Bridge Company, they lowered the tolls to 50 cents. It was the only bridge crossing across the Hudson south of Albany. This house right here, many years ago, I think it was back in 1973, a friend of mine had asked me if I wanted to have dinner on the Bear Mountain Bridge. And I said, sure. I thought we were going to get a couple of burgers and, you know, just walk across the bridge and eat them. But he pulled up to this house, which is the bridge keeper's house, and he goes in the door and he says, Mom, I'm home. His parents were the bridge keepers in the 70s. So I had dinner on the Bear Mountain Bridge, which very few people can say that. And I think it was spaghetti and meatballs. It was pretty good. The bridge keeper's name at the time was Ridpath. My friend's name was Terry Ridpath. He's since deceased, but that's a fond memory. That was a great experience. So, time to cross. Like I said, the wind's going to be roaring, so I'll probably end up having to put this away for fear of losing it. I'll try and get some pictures though. Okay. What a bridge though. Here comes the southbound hiker. The wind is roaring with a big pack on it. It pushes you right to the edge. Looks like that hiker's gonna yield to me till I get over. Well, made it across the Bear Mountain Bridge, but that wind was roaring. You could, with the pack on, it's like a sail. It's just pushing. Luckily, the wind's out of the north, so it's pushing me towards the traffic, not off the other end. But I did bump into another thru hiker southbound. It stayed at Graymore. He gave me the scoop on what's expected up there. So I told him I'm heading there now, and he's continuing south. Beautiful day. If the wind would slow down, and I'm sure in a couple of days it will. But then I'll probably wish there was wind, because I understand it's going to be in the 90s. By Thursday. Alright, checking out. Before the trail cuts back into the woods, there's a lot of cars parked here. These are day hikers that go up to a location called Anthony's Nose. I tried to get some video of it and zoom in. There's an American flag up on top of the mountain. On a day like today though, it must really be blowing up there. So I'll probably see some of these people coming down as I'm going up. There's a side trail off the AT to Anthony's Nose, but I don't think I'm gonna head up there. There's just not enough time today to meet my destination. So, checking out. There are no rocks. It's all in my head. There are no rocks. It's all my imagination. There are no rocks. There are no rocks. So I'm just on the main road going up to Graymore. It's a Franciscan monastery. And for a minute, just for a minute, I thought, wow, these people got religion. they're all coming up into Graymore. All of them, every car. There's no car going in any other direction. So I was impressed until I talked to the power line guys who told me a tree came down with power lines and they can't use the main road. They all have to come up here. But still, this might be divine intervention. Even if a percentage of those people find their way, that's a good thing. So, all right. Now I gotta find my way. Checking out. New York doesn't have the typical 2x6 white blazes. They have these 3/4 inch by 4 blazes. You gotta really look for them. And then they have these directional markers that this one bends a little to the left, so you should bend a little to the left. Oh well. Nice view of Canopus Lake, Fonstark State Park. Water level is very high because they had almost 3 inches of rain the other day. So I doubt the beach area is open yet for the season, but they do have a swimming area. Pretty nice. Very tiny, looks like a black snake sunning on a rock, which is something you have to watch out for now this time of year. He's small, he doesn't even see me. Let's see what he does. Huh, nice snake, but very small. And I'm going to leave him alone. Still in Fonstark State Park. I'm walking parallel to the Taconic State Parkway. And I'm on the, let's see, west side of the parkway. About 100 feet from the summit of this mountain, and this spring is just flowing. Crystal clear water. This water tastes great. I haven't had water taste this good since, gosh, I think Southern Virginia. But I can't help but stop and fill up. Very nice. And it's ice cold to boot. It's probably 80 degrees, maybe a little warmer outside, so it's nice to come across these. Okay, moving on. Okay, just hiked north of Fonstark and came across a couple of day hikers from Hopewell Junction.
How's it going?
We know where that is.
What's up, guys?
And I told them I'm trying to get to the RPH shelter, which this young man says he delivers pizzas there, and that's what we're looking for. That's the reason to stay at the RPH shelter. It sounds like a decent place, but I haven't, right?
I've heard from all the other hikers, I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, they say that it's probably the best shelter that they've been to on the trail.
Okay.
So,
well, looking forward to it. I don't know if
I've
I'm
never
up
been
for a
to many
pizza,
other
but...
ones, so I couldn't base it, but...
And you guys come up here often, or just today was a nice day?
Time. I've been here a few times. We're actually going to where you passed. There was a big lake.
Canopus Lake?
Beach. Yeah.
You going to the beach?
Yeah.
That's got to be an hour from here, right?
No.
45
All right,
minutes,
maybe we're not going there.
Yeah, the beach, I don't think it's open for swimming or anything. The water's high because of the heavy rain we had. But anyway, nice talking with you guys.
Yes, man, thank
Hopewell Junction. So is today school or no?
No, I just got back from college. That's why he's taking me on a hike.
Oh, so you're done for the semester?
Yeah.
So summer has begun. Sweet.
This is it. Take it up here.
Okay. And as I said, I can't remember what this is called. Oh, I think it's a 9/11 memorial. It's kind of weathered now, but anyway, we'll get some stills. And nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, you too.
All right, we'll see you later. So I hiked from Graymore to RPH Shelter today, 20 miles. And RPH Shelter is Rogers Peak Hikers. It's a private hiking club. So this shelter is private. It's owned by this hiking club. They maintain it. It's really immaculate. Has a hand pump water, which I'm told works. Let's see if it does. Remember my grandmother had one of these on a house she owned Let's see. Well, we're getting water. Pretty cool. This is located on Hortontown Road in, I think, Hopewell Junction, Dutchess County. Okay, so for tonight's activities, I'm going to play with this pump and just pump water for the heck of it. Anyway, it has a nice awning in the back with picnic tables. Tables are nice, and we just ordered the 2 pizzas to be delivered because it's so close to Hortontown Road. And I'll show you the inside bunks.
That number didn't work.
There we go. Bunks up and down. A couple of hikers are here already. And the number to order the pizza didn't work, so we're going to have to go to Plan B. All right, checking out.